Welcome to GATE XAML. In this video, we'll understand the overview of the database management systems. So this video will help you to understand what are the concepts in entirety you're going to learn in this subject. Okay. So let's understand DBMS and its certain organization as well as how it is developed. Okay. What are the different components and how they work. So first understand what is DBMS. So DBMS is nothing but, in short, we call DBMS, it is database management systems. Okay, as the name itself suggests, data base management, and then it's a system or a software. So let us break these words one by one. So you already know data, the huge amount of data being generated. So your applications, what you develop, okay, requires data. Now, how you are going to store that data? The fundamental concept for any application to execute is it requires data. So that is the you have. So you have data. Now, is it sufficient to have data? So the core idea of computer science is what we already know. It is all about the space versus time. It is all modeling the space and time. What exactly this means? See, any application you take, you want to organize that application, the data in a particular format, in a structured way. Why it is required? Because I need to reduce the excess or manipulation time. Okay, when I access the data or write to the data, I need to do it in efficient way, that is time efficient way, that is reduced execution time or reduce excess time. So and also to save this space, I need to organize the data in a certain structure or a way. So that is what you learn in the concept of data structures. Now when it comes to organization of database management system, it's a software you are developing for efficient access. Okay, it stores the data. This software helps us to organize and store the data in such a way that the access is easier. So what is this DBMS formally? The collection of interrelated data. So there is a lot of data for your application, for example. Now, data can be scattered anywhere. Okay. So collection of all this data, okay, interrelated means for your application, what data is required, you are going to combine them and store it in a access efficient way. So that we call it interrelated data, along with a set of programs used to access the data. So you take your data, organize them in perfect interrelated manner. I'll come to that examples later. So you organize your data in some particular format which is easier to access, efficient access. Efficient access means you're trying to reduce the time. So you are organizing your space such a way that the access to it is reduced. So for that we need to organize the data. So that is the overall goal of database management system. So what is database? The collection of data is commonly called as database. That means it stores information relevant to an enterprise or a business application. For your application, you store the data in a database. That's what you call it as. So collection of interrelated data. And then we need some set of programs, okay, application programs to access this data. So that is a set of programs it provides, database management system. The primary objective of DBMS is to provide convenient and efficient way to store and retrieve the database information. That is efficient space utilization and reducing the time. So that is the goal of DBMS. Now we will see the roles of database management system. What is that responsibility? So database systems are designed to manage large volumes of information. Data management involves defining storage structure for information. See, the goal is to organize the data in such a fashion that to reduce the excess time or it is time efficient. So for that we need the responsibility of the database management system is to define a storage structure or data structure such that it is time efficient. It also includes providing mechanism for data manipulation. If you are changing the data, so every application requires to change some or update some data. For that also it provides the efficient mechanism, efficient set of programs. It should also ensure safety and reliability. Reliability means when you store the data, So it should be reliable or durable. Okay. Data protection must be maintained even during system crashes. If there is a system crash, the data has to be there. It has to be protected or it should be safe. System must prevent unauthorized access to your information. So it also should provide the security. That means no other person who is not authorized to access your data should not be able to access your data. And when data is shared among multiple users, system must avoid anomalous and inconsistent results. This is what is the entire thing we are going to learn, the theory of database management systems. So anomalous and inconsistent. So some unwanted data or inconsistent wrong result should not be there. It should handle those things correctly. Now we'll see some of the generic applications. So database is particularly used everywhere in most of the applications over the internet. Why? Because we need to store the data in particular structure for efficient access. So some of the typical examples I have mentioned here: banking systems. So we need for banking system, for example, a structured creation of data. Okay, because banking system is a huge application. There are many persons involved or entities involved. So you need to organize them in a perfect correlated organization. Example are airline reservation. For example, your online reservation system. There also you need to store a lot of data about the booking the tickets, canceling the tickets, customer information, payment information, everything. So these are the interrelated data objects which you need to store them in a particular way, or you have to organize them in a structured way. And when it comes to, for example, university systems, so there are a lot of information about, say, for example, student details, exams, then faculty, course, all those things. So it is also huge database. Then it comes to e-commerce. So every day use the e-commerce applications. So backend, all the data is stored in a particular structured manner. So all the interrelated data are stored in a particular structured manner. And then hospital systems, telecom systems, social media, so your applications, social media applications you use, library management system, e-governance, manufacturing industry. See, these are the generic areas where the DBMS used. In most of the applications, database is. Now we'll understand the advantages of DBMS or traditional file system. See, for storing the data, I can use different files. So if I use the file system provided by the operating system, what are the problems we may face? Okay, and how the database management system overcomes it. The first challenge is the data redundancy and inconsistency. Now, say for example, what exactly this means is I have student information. Okay. I have student USN name, says department name. Now, consider the student is belonging to a particular university. Now, in the university, there are different departments. So, one department, say, is the accounts department, where it is fees, everything is scholarships, all information will be stored. Then there is one more department where his placement related activities and records will be stored. And say there is one more, for example, say department which he belongs to. Okay, department which he belongs to, for example, CSE and all. Now what happens? The same student data has to be stored everywhere. Okay, because accounts also need his information, student information, placement also needs student information, and department also needs student information, for example. So each of these departments has to store their student information. Now, for example, say that this one record or student information is size 2 kilobytes, 2 KB. That means what? This will be occupying 2 KB. This also will be occupying 2 KB. This is also 2 KB. So totally for same student, I am utilizing 6 KB of space if I store it in a traditional file system, because each of these departments requires student information. So this is actually the data redundancy. Redundancy means what? Repetition of the data. The student data, same data is repeated in different departments. So that is the problem with the traditional file system. So DBMS helps to overcome this issue. Now second is difficulty in accessing data. Now suppose say that I have stored in a file You can just imagine a text file. I store 10,000 students information, 10,000 student information. Now I want to find only particular, say 10 students information out of this. It means what? I have to search these 10 students in this 10,000 students information. So that means what? My access time will be very high because I have to search all the tuples or all the, sorry, not tuples, all the students information stored in this text file. So that is, it becomes difficult in accessing the data, or data access time will increase. Then data isolation. Data in various files and formats makes integration difficult. Okay. So for example, say that I have again same different departments in the university. Say let us say department 1, department 2, department 3. Now a student, say this is his home department which he belongs to, stores the data. Suppose say that there is some change in the information. So the student information is here also, repeated here also, student information. Now say that I have made some changes to student information here. Okay. So that becomes a problem of data isolation. Isolation means what? So whatever changes I make here should also be reflected here because it's the same student. The same student data, whatever I am making changes here, should also be reflected here. So this causes the issue in the file systems. So DBMS helps us to overcome the data isolation. And the next one important thing is the atomicity problems. So let us take a banking application, simple transaction, money transaction. Let's say that person A wants to transfer money to B. Now here the balance at A is say 1,000 rupees and the balance at B is say 2,000 rupees in the bank. Now A will transfer say 100 rupees. So this is what transaction, we call it as a transaction, that is transferring 100 rupees to B, from A to B. Now what happens? So once I transfer, that means what? I have to deduct 100 rupees from this balance and the new balance should become 900. Now suppose say that this operation has happened, it has become 900. At the same time, at B, the balance should become, add 100 to this 2,100. Now suppose say that between the transaction it failed due to some crash or something, this failed. Now at this point the balance at A is 900, but due to crash there is no update here. This update has not happened, so the balance is now still showing 2,000. That means the results are inconsistent. Database is in inconsistent state, we say that. So this should not happen. In the traditional file system, this is very difficult because I have to maintain different files. Okay, there is no isolation. For that reason, we have to have the atomicity. Atomicity means what? The operation should happen in entirety or should not happen at all. Atomicity means operation should happen in entirety, means complete, all steps should be completed in the transaction. Else, none of the steps should be completed. Happens fully or it will not happen at all. So it is like logic 1 or 0. Happens 1 or 0. It will not happen. It will not happen at all. So this is the concept of atomicity. So this should be ensured. So this is very difficult to achieve in your file systems. That is the reason the DBMS overcomes this. Then integrity problems. Now suppose say you have stored all the banking information or account related information in a file of all the persons in your bank. Now say that a person A has a balance of 10,000 rupees. Now he wants to withdraw, is stored in a file, for example. You want to withdraw say 12,000 rupees. What will happen? You have to enforce some integrity. Integrity means some checks. Okay, whether it is permitted or not. This operation, no, subtraction operation, right? Minus 12,000. Is it permitted or not? Is it permitted or not? Here, You have to check the constraint. What is the constraint here? The balance, for example, say as long as it is greater than 0, then only I can perform this operation. So that kind of constraints, these are called integrity constraints. So in depth, you will learn in the further theory concepts. So this has to be ensured. So it is difficult again in performing such kind of integrity constraints in your file system. So that's why you go for database management system. Then have concurrent anomalies. Suppose say that same example let us take. So I have a balance, say, let us say 1000 rupees. A has a balance of 1000 rupees. Now he is using two different apps for money transfer. So this is say app 1, say this is the app 2. Concurrency means both application programs are trying to access this balance, this shared variable at the same time. Okay? Concurrency means at the same time they are trying to access. Suppose that app 1 deducts 100 rupees. Okay. So now it becomes 900. Now if after app 1 has completed, app 2 accesses means it will access the new value. Now say that app 2 wants to deduct 10 rupees, wants to deduct 100 rupees. So when they are concurrent, that means when they access the balance variable, the shared variable at the same time, this app reads balance as 1000. This app reads balance as 1000. Same. Now they will perform their own operations locally. Then this variable say makes this as 900. Okay. Now say that after some time this makes 1000 minus 10, that is it becomes 990. So instead of 900 it has made 990. Now this is the inconsistent result, the wrong result. That is the reason concurrent accesses should be handled properly. And the last one is the security problems. So for example, again take the 10,000 records of the student. 10,000 records of the students are stored in a file, for example. 10,000 students records are stored. Now, if I want to access, for example, say particular student or give a protection to a particular student, for example, each student should access only his data. He should not be able to see others' data. So this kind of restriction to put in a file is very difficult. So for that, we call it as actually granularity. Granularity means how fine or how coarse grain it is. How fine. So for example, each student is a grain here. So to that extent, I can provide the security. Only his data I can access. But in traditional file security, this granularity level is very difficult to achieve. So all these concepts you are again going to learn in depth in the video lectures. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we'll see about the different data models and the data abstraction concept. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and